Okay, so in the absence of air friction, all objects accelerate at the same rate. Near the Earth's surface, the acceleration is constant, negative 9.8 meters per second squared. Let's look at this example. A student drops their homework down a wishing well. After 2.4 seconds, it hits the water at the bottom. How deep is the well? So we're going to start out by writing all our variables. So our velocity initial is 0 meters per second because he drops their homework and it starts from rest. Acceleration is going to be negative 9.8 meters per second. We're trying to find the distance right here, and it takes 2.4 seconds to hit the bottom. So the formula that we're going to use is d equals VOT plus 1/2 AT squared. And we know that VO is 0, so that can cross that out. So therefore d equals 1/2 AT squared. Oops. One sec. So then d equals 1/2 negative 9.8 2.4 squared, which gives us negative 28 meters. And again, the negative sign just indicates a direction. Okay, let's look at the next question. A football is kicked straight up into the air at 15 meters per second. How high does it go? So here's our diagram of the football getting kicked up 15 meters per second. We're going to start out by writing out all of our variables. So when you kick the football straight up in the air, when it reaches this height, the velocity is 0. The reason is because it has to stop for it to be able to come back down again. Alright? V initial is 15, A is negative 9.8 meters per second squared. We're trying to find how high up it goes, and we don't know time. So the formula we're going to use is V squared equals VO squared plus 2AD. And then we just plug these numbers in. So 0 squared equals 15 squared plus 2 times negative 9.8 D. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the 15 over. So we get 15 squared equals 2 times negative 9.8 D, and then divide both sides by 2 times negative 9.8, and we get our final answer. D equals 11.48 meters. Part 2 of the question says, what is the total hang time? That means what is the time it takes to go up and come back down. So if we find the time it takes to go up, then we just need to times it by 2 to find the total time to come back down. So V equals VO plus AT. So therefore 0 equals 15 plus negative 9.8 T. Bring the 15 over. Negative 15 equals negative 9.8 T. So T equals 1.53 seconds. Now this is T up. For total time, it'll take the same amount of time to come back down. So it's going to be 1.53 times 2, which is 3.1 seconds. Alright, let's look at the next question. A student stands on the edge of a 45-meter cliff. They throw their homework straight in the air at 12 meters per second. How long does it take to come back down to the same height as the student? So it goes up and then comes back down. We're trying to find how long it takes to get to this, to get to that level, the same height as the student. How long does it take for it to come back down? Okay, so the equation that we're going to use is V equals VO plus AT. So this is the equation where our variables are V initial, we hit it up, throw it in the air with 12 meters per second. It reaches a final velocity, but then it also comes back down. The velocity that it was thrown up with, it'll come back down with. So V final is negative 12 meters per second. Acceleration is always negative 9.8. And then we plug in to find our time. How long does it take for it to come back down? So we have negative 12 equals 12 plus negative 9.8 t. So then we're going to move this over, and then t is going to equal 2.45 seconds. So the next part asks if it falls all the way to the bottom of the cliff, how fast is it traveling when it hits the ground? So now we've thrown the book up, we've thrown the book up, and now it's going to come back down when you want to find the speed when it hits the ground. So initial velocity is 12, we don't know what the final velocity is going to be. So we're going to rewrite our variables. So we're trying to find v, VO is 12 meters per second, acceleration is negative 9.8, and our distance is negative 45 meters because we're going in the negative direction. Alright, so we're going to use the equation v squared equals VO squared plus 2AD. And then v squared equals 12 squared plus 2 times negative 9.8 negative 45. So v equals the square root of all that. So v is going to be 32 meters per second. And that's the final answer.